with your legs media. You know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up.
Yo, what's up and welcome once again. This is Ines Luby. This is Say It With Your Legs Media. And today, as you can see, as it says up here, 2023 Africa Tour Recap. So basically it's a recap of all of the stage races and some of the one-day races, just like the winners and stuff. So ain't gonna be that long. We're just gonna breeze through them really quickly. Thanks to an article. I'll let you know who it's from, who wrote it, and who did the recap. But behind me is Hanouk Malubarahan. He won the Tour of Rwanda, and he currently rides for Italian team Project Body Army. That's part of the name. It's got like four. I'm not even trying, but it's a long name. But that's Hanouk Malubarahan, and yeah, he won Tour of Rwanda. He done a lot of really big things this year. So hopefully we get to run into him next season 2024 and get a chance to talk to him. So we're gonna get into it. Everything that's happened in Africa right after this. The name holds a story, a message of inspiration and empowerment. As a child, I constantly faced the need to prove myself, no matter which sport I pursued. But then I discovered cycling. It became my answer to skeptics who doubted my abilities. More than just freedom, cycling became my pursuit of justice in the face of those who wish me to fail. So when you encounter seemingly insurmountable obstacles, remember, just say it with your legs. With every paddle, you can conquer anything, one step at a time. And that's why you need to buy this brand. To embrace the journey, empower yourself, and achieve greatness. There you have it. Explore the power of say it with your legs. Say it with your legs, baby. When you get out on the bike after the ride, when you're sitting around talking to you, guys are just going to look at you and it's like, damn. You ain't got to say a goddamn thing. You just let everyone else say their excuses and, say what they got to say and do what they got to do. They need to get on the bike, go train, and get the results. Don't talk to me about it. Be about it. So anyway, let's get into this recap. So this is the 2023 Africa Tour Recap, and it's brought to you by online magazine called the Global Peloton, who I subscribe to, and I suggest you subscribe to it. Dan Chellis, he's the writer of Global Peloton. So let's just get into it and go over some of what happened for 2024. What I'm going to try to do, I'm going to tell you now some of the names. I'm going to run into some promises, some of the names. And some of the names I will get. Like I know Hanouk's name because I've said it enough time and I've seen it enough time. But this is okay. Let's just get into it real quick. The 2023 Africa Tour Recap. So basically, he writes a lack of opportunity for African women, the Algerian Sprint King, and the issues which hinder African racing. So my thing is, next season I should be able to actually be on the ground with some of these guys in some of these races and just bring you what's happening and what's going on. So the extremes of heat, wind, aggressive tactics, and often a display are often across bikes races in Africa. They may not win on the same level of respect as events in other continents, but these races are tough. This season has seen the Africa Tour grow, with new races and new riders from different nations emerging to compete in them. The Global Peloton Recap for 2023. So for the Women's African Tour, what Women's African Tour? What Women's African Tour? So the question is like basically there was none. So there were a handful of races here and there. So basically, first a brief look at the women racing across the continent. It's brief because, well, there's not much to look at. Although there are many talented women racing across several African nations, they just don't have many races to test themselves in. Aside from the national championships, women's UCI racing on the continent of Africa in 2023 consisted of the African Continental Championships and the Jeux de la Francophonie motorsport games for French-speaking nations held in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Outside the UCI jurisdiction, outside of the UCI's jurisdiction, women do compete in national level races, such as the recent tour of Burundi, several one-day events in Rwanda, Burkina Faso, and the tour of the Lunsa. It's pitiful when you compare it to the men's calendar, and you'd be hard-pressed to find many who think there's enough men's racing in Africa either. But let's focus on racing that they did. The biggest moment that stands out for me in this year, he says, is women racing in Africa, and Nigerians Essa Lova Upasara, shock win at the African Continental Championships. This big favorite did manage to get rid of the track sprinter, and she made them pay, earning herself a spot on the World Championships in Glasgow at the same time. And that's her there. Upascara. The Jeu de la Francophonie was won by Samalia Hariri from Morocco, completing a 1-2-3-4. Wow, for Morocco. It's encouraging to see that 11 of the 15 starters were under 23. There's plenty of growth potential among the young female riders in Africa. Probably the biggest non-UCI event of the year was the women's side. On the women's side was the Tour of Burundi. This race included riders from 8 different African nations, and their only chance to race a stage race all year. Rwanda crushed the competition, placing their 5 riders in the top 5 GC positions. Their rosters included current Kenya SRAM Generations rider Valentine Nasingi and Dana sorry Dana, but Dana, I'm not gonna mess up her last name. So let's see who like these 2 young ladies are. And here, so these are the 2 young ladies here, and they ride for SRAM. That's pretty amazing. And there we go. Burundi 19. Rwanda crushed the competition, placing their 5 riders in the top GC position. The rosters included current Kenya SRAM Generations rider Valentine and Diane. That's going to be easiest to do. Who won the race overall? And you know what? Don't ask me which one is which. But I guess you can see one has got the Rwanda National Championship jersey, so that's the one that's from Rwanda. Burundi 19 years old prospect Emanuela put on a valiant effort in resistance against the Rwandans. She was 6th overall and finished in the top 6 in each stage. This is a rider with potential. A growing men's Africa tour. There's a lot of racing going on for the men. I have to admit that there's a lot of racing going on for the men. And as we get into the story about the men, it says the Tour de Faso, which is in Burkina Faso, concluded on Sunday, and with it, the curtain came down on the 2023 calendar of races in Africa. Home rider Paul Dumont won the overall for the first time, along with five stages. Moroccan sprinter Archraf Ed Doma concluded his best ever season by taking 2 wins, moving his total to the year to 11 UCI victories. So now to all my African, my fans of African cycling that know these guys, do not crucify me for pronouncing their names. So what you want to do is, if I'm pronouncing the name, email it to me at sayitwithyourlegs@gmail.com, and I will go over them and I will get their names correct. I will say their names, to the best of my ability. I will learn how to say the names. I'm going to have to, so I will learn it. So just do me that. I just need to hear it, so I hear how they phonetically sound, and then I'll be good after that. So it's hard to, if you haven't seen something or a language or style, it's hard to, so yeah, I'm going to learn it. So sayitwithyourlegs@gmail.com. Make a little voice note, send it to me, and then, yeah, that's what's up. So all my info is in the YouTube thing, and you can check it out on Instagram, however you want to do it. Instagram, email, Twitter, whatever, however you want to do it, just send it to me, and yeah, I will practice it, and I will make sure for 2024 I know everyone's name and how to pronounce everyone's name. So let's get into this. The Tour of do Faso was one of the UCI stage races held this year across 8 countries. This year saw the birth of 2 brand new UCI stage races. The Tour, oops, let me put that back. Sorry, wrong one. So we'll see that. The Tour de Sahel was in Mauritania, and the Tour of Mauritius, which is in Mauritius. There was also a rebirth of the Tour of Algarve, which returned for the first time since 2018. The biggest of the 9 in profile is the Tour of Rwanda, one of the only 2 races in Africa with the UCI 0.1 level or above, the other being the La Tropical Amisabongo, La Tropical Amisabongo in Gabon. Sorry about that. Here's the list of the 2023 Africa Tour stage races and their winners. So we start off with La Tropical Amisabongo, and his name is Jeffrey Soup, who also won a stage. I believe it was in the Tour this year or the Tour of Italy. But that's Jeffrey Soup, and yeah, he won. I believe it was his tour. I believe he won a stage in the Tour. So well done to him. And the Tour of the Sahel was Ali. Let me get his picture up. Ali Al Arabio from Morocco. And then the Tour of Rwanda, as we know, was won by Hanuk Malobarahan. See, someone sent me a voice note on the how to pronounce Hanuk's name, and I got to practice it in and there. Hanuk Malobarahan. And I actually like saying it. It's a pretty cool name. And he won the Tour of Rwanda. I do have a video of that posted, so if you want to watch the last, I believe it's the last 2 kilometers, and it's a finish of the last stage, and you can see him like winning that stage and climbing everybody. So that was a pretty amazing race to watch. And they call Rwanda the land of 1,000 hills, and boy, that finish on that last stage is pretty tough. So go check that out. It's a Tour of Rwanda recap, the last kilometer, and you can see Hanuk Malobarahan winning that. So next we have Paul Hennequin, and he won the Tour of Algarve, and he is French. And next we have RF Ed Dogmai from Morocco, and he won the Tour of Benin. And after the Tour of Benin is the Tour of Cameroon, won by Mohsin Al Kouraji from Morocco. After the Tour of Cameroon is the Tour of Maurice, won by Archie Cross of Great Britain. Sorry, this is the best picture I could find. He doesn't have any pictures up on his Instagram, or so that was the best picture I could find. Sorry about that there, Archie. And then the Grand Prix, Chatal Bailly, won by Yassin Hamza from Algeria. And then we have the Tour of Faso, won by Paul Dumont of Burkina Faso. Is that Burkina Faso? I'm pretty sure that's Burkina Faso. But they said there was also several one-day races which took place, which is the Grand Prix La Ville, won by Youssef Roglin. The Grand Prix du Prince, won by Lucas. The Grand Prix de Tron, won by Lucas again. The Courts Mammoth Classic, won by Youssef. The Grand Prix Boccara, won by Sergio. The Grand Prix Esk Samara, won by Adel El from Morocco. And the Grand Prix Medisa, won by Saguf again. So, and then the writer goes on to say, Africa, it's evident. North Africa's dominance is evident just from the list. And this has been an excellent year for African nations of Morocco and Algeria. Morocco won 3 of the 9 stage races with 3 different riders. In many ways, their neighbors Algeria were even more impressive, but through the exploits of one man, Yassine Hamza. And there is Yassine. Hamza won the most races of any rider of the African Tour of 2023. In fact, his total of 17 UCI wins for the season ranks him 3rd in the entire world for wins. He only trails Miguel Angel Lopez and Jesper Philipsen, as he is tied with Tadej Pogacar. I got to speak to Hamza last week over the phone, and he said that he feels honored and motivated to be among such names. More on that conversation soon, so we're looking for that conversation when it comes. His main North African rival for the year was Morocco's Chief Ag Dogma. The 23-year-old won 11 times, including Morocco's national championships. He is similar in many ways to Hamza. Both are bulky sprinters, but Ed often came off better the head-to-heads due to his strength of the rest of the Morocco team. The future looks even brighter for the North Africans. Algeria swept up the junior race in the Continental Championships. First-year junior woman Malik Makab particularly impressed by winning the road race and placing second in the time trial. She went on alongside several other young African talents to spend the summer racing in Belgium and in the Worlds in Glasgow. Pretty amazing. Emerging nations, while Algeria and Morocco took home the majority of the wins in the African Tour this year, a few other nations also began to emerge as future contenders. Mauritius has to be a primary among these. No, man, that's crazy, because when I was racing back in the 90s, there's a guy named, I believe his name is Patrick. I'm pretty sure it's Patrick. And when we went to the Caribbean Championships, he was second in the time trial. And I think he finished just behind me in the road race or something like that. But Mauritius, to me, no, man. Those guys are talented, man. So I don't know what happened. I gotta, hopefully I can get in contact with somebody from Mauritius or even Patrick and just find out what's going on. But at one time they were in the 90s, they were doing pretty good at cycling. So to read this, that like Mauritius is an emerging nation, it's sort of like, I don't know, because my interaction with them, they were always pretty powerful. So Mauritius has to be primary among these islands nations and took part in several stage races across Africa this season, including their home race. Christopher Rogue Langini excelled with his 3rd place in the earlier season in La Tropicale Amisobongo, 2nd at the Tour de Maurice, and 4th at the Continental Time Trial in Mauritius. He also dominated the mixed relay and won the women's. Okay. It said talking about a he or a she, and won the women's team time trial and the time trial. Although through Ariella, okay, I can see through Ariella Herbert. So the writer put their name last, which is a bit confusing. It's also been interesting to see that Ineos linked Kenyans and Ugandans to take giant leaps forward this season. Who could forget Charles Kagama's African Conti TT win on Luke Rowe's bike on his 2022 bike. Lawrence Lorat and Paul Lamy also revealed themselves as stars of the future. Lorat put in an excellent ride at the Worlds in Glasgow too. So I'm talking about my man from Uganda. Let's see. So they're saying some of the hurdles. Charles, is it Charles Gagima? Yes, Luke Rosberg. Who could forget Charles Gagama's African Conti time trial win? I read it and it didn't even register. So he didn't mention him from Uganda. Boy, Ines, you are sleeping at the wheel. Although 2023 was a positive year in many ways, the African for the African tour, it was clear that the political and financial issues that ravage the continent have a negative effect on the racing. It might be strange to some that the three most prominent African cycling nations, South Africa, Eritrea, and Ethiopia, play virtually no part in races across the continent. War in Ethiopia's case, political instability and financial pressures mean that the federations of these countries are unable to support African racing. Many of the professionals we see on the world stage from these countries get there without ever really racing on the African tour. These issues stretch from to the cancellation of the South Africa's tour of Limpopo in May due to the lack of funding, and then the same for the tour of the Morocco, which was cancelled the day before it was due to start because of a recent earthquake in the country. Coups in Burkina Faso and Gabon led the tour to Faso, having a reduced peloton and cancellation for 2020 and cancellation of 2024's La Tropical Mesabongo. So I was actually trying to make plans for that, but I guess so if there's war going on and stuff, so yeah, it's totally understandable. In Europe, the cancellation of a race doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of European racing. In Africa, it's a huge loss of opportunity for the riders to show themselves to the world and to develop their skills. Much hope abounds in Africa through cycling. Young men and women are dreaming of improving their lives, coming from many different continents, but in many parts of Africa, these dreams can seem impossible to realize. The 2023 Africa Tour epitomized the continent in many ways. Such talent, joy, and hope on display in the midst of hardship and inadequacy. I'll get it. The continent now continues to build towards its first UCI World Championships in 2025. It's not yet clear how much of a part African nations will play in the racing, but this year showed much potential. So, like I said, thanks for reading Global Peloton. So if you please subscribe to this guy, and you can subscribe for free, but it's a lot of work. He's on the phone, he's calling people, he's making contact. It takes time to do this stuff. So like me, I subscribe. So subscribe. It's called the Global Peloton. So don't just pillage the man's work. He has a lot of great articles. Tap into him, subscribe to his publication, and so we could keep getting more great stories and stuff like this. So let's see, we at W. Yeah. So make sure you subscribe to the Global Peloton. That was an amazing, pretty insightful report on this year's racing in Africa. And what's cool is that I was looking forward to the Tropical Mesabongo, but I did hear there was some instability. Yeah, there we go. My word. I was aware of the instability that was going on. So the fact that it's already canceled for 2024, it makes sense. And it's unfortunate. And hopefully the guys that usually get to go to the Mesabongo tour, have somewhere else they could go, another race they can get to. So, and then on the back of that, this is why my long-term goal and my long-term plan is to open up my International Youth Cycling Academy, because it's like what's happening now is people are cherry picking who they want to come to try for the teams, because they only have certain spots. But I would like to sort of try and open up the floodgates and give as many people an opportunity to just freshly try. So you come to the academy and you put down and you go through the paces and you see what you can and can't do. And no, it's not going to be easy. So this is probably something I'm planning for like 2025, end of 2025. So this year the countdown is on. We are 105 days and counting for the first race, which I'll be at February the 24th, is the Loop. So, and that's what we'll be doing this year in our aims to work towards the International Youth Academy. So it'd probably be youth and maybe, one or two people that are just a bit older than youth, but potential's potential. So, and that's what we're gonna do. I mean, because when I was racing, I really had to really work hard to scrunch and tell people that I can do this, and people really wasn't paying me any mind. So I have some idea of what some of these young riders on the continent are going through, and I want to make sure that they can they get the opportunity. So it won't be like next year. It's going to be a working process, and we are working hard on it. I'm definitely going to make that happen, so we can have more Anouk Malobrahans behind me, more Benny Gourmets behind me, more Nathaniel. I said Benny Gourmet behind me. Benny is not behind me. Let's see. That was the One Love. It's not going to show, is it? I would have to take that down. But anyway, I'm not going to take that down. I wanted to show Benny. I did have a picture of Benny, but I'm not going to bring it up. Some more Nathaniel Sesfacion. Like I said, these are names that people sent them to me. A guy sent them to me in a file. And once I heard the names and I got to see how they wrote off the tongue phonically, then I was able to learn some of the names. So so that's it. This has been Say With Your Legs Media. I'm Ines Luby. This has been the 2023 African Tour recap. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was informative. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel until we bring you the next one. Till next time, see ya.
Say With Your Legs Media, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up.